Most of them concern His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. In fact, today, Bobi Wine, or His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, is in Washington, D.C., and at the hotel where they were having lunch or a meeting, Ambassador of Museveni, Ayebali Adonia, was seen at the same hotel. Okay, so the president is at high security risk wherever he is, but the Museveni people have also said that he has very tight security of his own. So thank you, people power. Thank you, those who are out there and with the president and protecting him and making sure his food is checked and all that. So ISO is actually, ISO is Internal Security Organization, I believe. But there's the External Security Organization, ESO. ESO is the one that is operating out here. And Adonia Ayebali, His Excellency, who is the ambassador for Uganda, who is related to Museveni himself, is tracking His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu very, very closely. So far, there's been 2 spies who have given feedback of reaching Kyagulanyi somehow, making a handshake or giving him a hug or being very close, in close proximity with him. So reports have gotten back to Museveni. It is possible that through Ayebali, the ambassador, Ayebali Adonia, the ambassador of Uganda in the United States, who is seen at certain places where His Excellency has appeared, meeting Ugandans. So the report back from the ESO guys is that 2 people have successfully reached the president, even though they were not able to execute their plans, which is poisoning him through his food. They have not been successful, therefore have reported back to Museveni that he should send somebody, a lady from Canada, because he seems to have a way with, or a soft heart for Ugandans in the diaspora of the females, meaning that, like the mothers, he gives a hug to the elders, the women, the mothers, the grandmothers, the older ladies who just adore him. They come close. They want to see him. They want to talk to him. They call him my son, my son, my son. So they want to plant such an individual who will be close, who can reach the president, potentially serve him, because being a Muganda, he's a very respectable, or gives a lot of respect to people, especially women or mothers by tradition. So the ESO have suggested that they do send a female to go and potentially poison his food so that to successfully achieve Museveni's goal. Museveni says, even if God calls him, which I don't think that's God, it'll be the devil. Even if he dies on the same day that he kills Bobi Wine, he will consider his life a success and that he'll be ready to die. That is how much Museveni makes every effort to bring down, to capture, and take down His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. So, great job, security team or detail of Bobi Wine, His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Museveni has not stopped, and he wants to try to get His Excellency Bobi Wine poisoned in the United States by a woman who will be brought from Canada, possibly a woman of an elder type mother stage, who will look to Bobi Wine as one of the ladies that he does relate with respectfully as a mother. Baganda respect their mothers or people who are motherly very, very much, with very high regard. They will, even if they gave you food, you would take it and consume it because it seems like your mother has given you something to eat. So that is something that is very important that needs to be tweeted and shared. ESO agents of Museveni, including the ambassador Adonia Ayebali, who lives in Washington, D.C. at the Ugandan embassy, has been tracking down His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and sending spies. So far, 2 have reported unsuccessful missions of trying to poison him. Share that. Very, very important. I said, Museveni said, if he could only take out Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, he would be ready to go and go with Janet or whatever that means. Okay? So very important to share. Excellent job, the detail of Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. For now, please keep it even more tight. Not even the ladies, nobody should get close or touch his food. Okay? Another update, in the same meeting, I understand there was a high security personnel meeting in Uganda where they said things like, they feel like the police and the military are on the side of the people. Obviously, with Kyagulanyi surviving 2 months in Uganda in hiding or passing by them and them not touching him, Museveni feels betrayed by those people. So what he has decided to do is going to order the military and the police to be very cruel to Ugandans so that Ugandans will not like them and cause more fear amongst the people. He wants Ugandans to be afraid of the uniform. But so far, because they've been so beaten, they've been arrested, they've been tortured, they've been internal organs taken, they've been leached in acid, they've been dumped in swamps. All manner of atrocities have been committed on Ugandans by people in uniform. Now, that doesn't mean those are like the Ugandan military or Ugandan-born military. These are people who sometimes pose as Ugandans, even though there are some Ugandan military who actually perform these atrocities on orders by the Musevenis. This time, Museveni wants to create extreme fear among the Ugandan nationals, the people, the locals, by making sure that his military and police intensify cruelty on Ugandans. Okay? They're resolved that it will be wild on civilians, and they'll use extreme roughness and cruelty so that Ugandans become more fearful again of the military. Because it used to be that we can now eat with them or share something with them or treat them nicely. In fact, the president, Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, says, when you find a policeman or a military man, empathize with them because they're sent to do these things. They're actually not bad people. They can change. Their heart is different. But because they're ordered by the Musevenis, they perform really dirty deeds. So continue being kind to Ugandan military police and military because truly they don't feel like what they're actually sent to do. But Museveni wants to intensify that cruelty to make you hate them even more. They're on our side, so just be nice to them. And somehow they'll figure out a way to let you go scotch-free, hopefully. Okay? Now, because Museveni has failed to account, this is another discussion point that they had a discussion about. Museveni has failed to justify or satisfy the request for accountability on cruelty on Ugandans. During elections, before elections, the first presidential election where His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu participated, where he won the election in 2021, and the second time, since the beginning of that, since the Arua incident where Bobi Wine was almost killed by Museveni, all that time there's been documented, very well documented cruelty on the Museveni side, starting with himself, Bobi Wine. You will remember that Bobi Wine, when he was captured in Arua, when he went to campaign for Mbazira in part of Busoga, Bugiri. Remember that time when he was taken and beaten so badly, brought into Kampala, remanded in Gulu or something like that, and then eventually released, and he came straight to the United States for treatment and all of that. All that started happening when he joined politics, when he ran for the special election in Kamwokya and won the election as MP and onward till today. Everything has been documented and submitted to the ICC in order of occurrence. All of that has been documented. Everybody who got lost, people who have been reported missing, people who have reported themselves having been held by the police and all that, people who have witnessed others' internal organs being taken away by the Rwabogos, all of those, if you know, there's even a documentary that details some of that, the president's time and all of that happened in the past election. you will know that there's been a endless piles of dirt that has been committed by the Museveni people. Now, all of that information has been documented and has been availed, like our videos, my videos. Mine goes straight into the database, the ICC, the UN, all of that. All of these feeds have been documented perfectly by the ICC. So Museveni has been requested multiple times by different organizations, whether they fund him or not, or international bodies that have to do with human rights. They have asked him on a report about what has happened, documentation that has come in stating this, that, and the other. They're asking Museveni to explain. He cannot explain what he did with those people. Several Ugandans have died. Some of them known. The Chibalama just disappeared. The 18 people who are in Kalangala who were captured, it is said that they were leached in acid. There is not a grave. There is not a sign. Museveni cannot explain. With all of that being on his front and having no accountability, Museveni is now trying to figure out how he can land that big issue, try to hoodwink or convince the Western world otherwise. Some of the things that he thinks he wants to do, which when we tweet things like this, okay, we hope that he'll put a stop to it. But he's so stubborn that he may execute it in some kind of way. So I want you guys to tweet all of this information because it's credible, true, and very, very urgent. Okay? This particular point pertains to our imprisoned brothers and sisters who have not committed a crime. All political prisoners are affected by what this is going to be that I'm explaining to you. So he has decided, as you have noticed in the news, I think the day before yesterday, a few Indians were captured they planned this where they had these Indians in a home somewhere or a neighborhood somewhere. They went and gathered all of them just for the sake of news, paraded them as being deported or something like that. Truly, those people were transported somewhere and returned to where they were picked up. He wants to try to make it that he wants to cause an atrocity that will just lump everyone that he has captured that was a political prisoner, the people who disappeared, the people that they're asking for accountability,